Welcome back. This is Jeff Byers modeling a character body, and this is video 3. I figured out what was wrong, why I couldn't use the shading X-ray view. It's because I need to right-click over the object and go to Assign New Material, and I had to actually add a blend for it to work. So I had been working with Arnold shaders previously, so that got stuck on that. So I'm going to go to shading and X-ray. Now it works fine. Okay, so what we're going to do is continue down the foot. Now we can't continue in the front view anymore, so we're going to have to go in the side view. So double click on the edge, right click over and go to edge mode, and we're going to go ahead and I just move vertices around a little bit, not a whole lot, from the last video. And what we're going to do is we're going to basically extrude this straight down. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and extrude, Control E, and hit the W key and extrude that straight down. I know this looks really strange right now, but that's okay. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to right click over this, go to vertex mode, and just kind of move these vertices like this. Okay, and it's going to move these vertices down like that. And we're going to go ahead and do edge mode again, and go ahead and go to Control E and W and move that down. And again, I'm going to move vertices around. These just need to stay over here. We're going to move these so they are nice and flat. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and go to Show, turn on my grid, and I want these to be flat on the ground, on the grid. So to do that, I want them perfectly flat. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to double click on this move tool here, double click on it, and go to move snap settings and click off of retain component spacing. And what that's going to do, and then click on grid snap up here. So up here, grid snap. And I'm going to go ahead and zoom out a little bit and then just move these down, and it snaps to the grid. I'm going to snap them back up again. So I snap them down, snap up. I had that turned off, right? And that will flatten all those verts and follow the exact grid. So I'm going to turn off the grid up here. Turn off the grid right here, and then turn that back on so we don't forget. I'm going to go ahead and close that. Alright, so from the perspective view now, we're going to extrude the foot forward. So I'm going to click on, hit the Q key, and I'm going to hold the Shift key down and rotate around like that. And just select those guys right there. And we will probably scale those out just a little bit. Again, I'm kind of going outside of the front view because we just can't see what's happening, so we're going to extrude now from the side view. Okay? Alright. Now if we wanted to, we could take these verts, and I'm not too worried about them, but if it confuses you, just think of this back edge as what we need to extrude forward. Okay, so this back edge when we extrude needs to go to there. Okay, and then what we're going to do, and that kind of gives us a piece that we're going to have in the front. But just bear with me. Control E and move. And just move that to the front, right, all the way to here. And what we're going to do is we're going to move some vertices around. So I'm going to go to vertex mode, and we're going to move the front down, okay, kind of like that, and the middle down, like that. Okay, great. And I'm going to take these top ones. I'm just going to select the whole group and move them up. Okay, like that. Looks good. Alright. What we could do is probably move these back, but I'm just going to move them back a little bit. Just kind of like that. And I'm going to go back to Control Z and just move. I'm not going to move the center. I'm going to click on the blue arrow and move it back a little bit like that. Okay, let's go back to the front. Alright, and what we're going to do here is going to click on face mode. Okay, and that should pop these back up again. If not, you'll just have to select them. Don't worry about the hole in the bottom. We'll fix that. And let's go ahead and continue extruding. So Control E and W and move that like that. So that matches up there. I'm going to right click over it, go to vertex mode and move that down. Okay, that looks fine. Whoops. And just select these guys, move those up. Okay. And we'll just continue doing that. Right click over it and go to face mode. Side view, Control E, W, like that. Go to the next one. Okay. And Control E and W. Move that forward. There we go. Alright. Let's see what I got in for my template. So I'm not missing anything. Let's see. Alright, so looks like we've got one more extrude, I believe. We need to shape the foot a little bit more like what I have here. Let's see here. Okay. Go to the end, and let's go ahead and select these vertices and move them down to the tip of the toe, like that. There we go. And that looks pretty good. We need to take these vertices here and here, and we can probably scale these out or scale these in just a little bit. And I would probably scale them down a little bit too as well and move them down. Kind of like that. Okay. And the foot looks kind of squarish, so we're going to take the top row here and scale them in. I'm going to hit the Q key so they don't get in the way. And I'm going to scale these, just select these vertices on top, probably up in here too as well, so it's not so square. And just those, click on those, and hit the R key and scale those in. Okay. Alright, so we'll scale those in a little bit like that, so we kind of get that shape there. Okay, so we need to move some vertices around again, kind of losing the shape here. I think we're getting close though. Alright, so it looks pretty good from the side view. That looks good. Now the foot itself needs to be shaped a little bit more, so we have, so I'll go to the top view kind of, select these guys and move them out a little bit, like that. I'm going to select these and move them out a little bit. Select these, move these out a little bit. Like that. We want an arch. Kind of an archway right there, so you can see how I'm just moving things around a little bit. So I'm going to select, hit the Q key and kind of select these points right here and move them out a little bit. There we go. You can see that just kind of shaping the foot a little bit more. I'm going to select this guy right here, hit the Q key and select those. Q is just kind of selection mode, and I'm going to move these out a little bit like that. Okay. Kind of see what we got so far. Let's Control Z back again and move those out a little bit more. And let's move this out a little bit more, and this one out. Okay, I'm going to move this one out, and this one out. So we're getting kind of a nicer shape there for a foot. Now we got to consider this is going to be a boot, eventually be a boot. Okay. So that looks pretty good. This looks pretty flat right here, so let's go ahead and select those. Again, don't select any other vertices and move those all out. Like that. That looks good, a little better. And we can move those back out a little bit and move these out. So I'm going to hit the Q key again for selection mode, and let's move those out a little bit to the side like that. And let's move these out, those three out a little bit, so we can get kind of a nice boot shape. Go. That's eventually going to be a boot. Okay, and the bottom, got a problem here, so let's close that off. So select edge mode and double click on that, and we'll go ahead and do Control E and scale that in like that, and we'll kind of go just kind of like that, and then Control E and scale, and we'll finish this off. I'm going to show you a little tip here. So basically we're going to take that and we're going to merge those all together. So I'm going to go to select, convert selection to vertices, and then I'm going to go to edit mesh, merge to center, and there we go. We closed it off. Okay, alright, so that looks pretty good. And then from here you can kind of tweak things out, make sure things are flat. They should be pretty good. The bottom of the foot, if it's not and you get some kind of craziness going on, you can do that trick that I used before. So it's got some vertices that aren't really flat. So I'm going to zoom out a little bit like that. Select the vertices, go into click on the grid snap and double click on this and open this back up again. Open the move snap settings, click off of the retain component spacing and move it down and then back up again, and that'll flatten everything out. That's a really nice little tool. Click on it back, click it back on again, close it, turn grid snap off, click off, and this is what we have so far. What we'll do is we'll right click over it and go to selection mode, then go to edge mode and select it. I'm a power user. I like to hold the spacebar, so from now on I'm just gonna say spacebar, and I'm gonna go to mesh display and soften edge. You can also go up here, mesh display. So the tools are all here too as well. and right click over it, and this is what we have. I'm going to turn off the wireframe, unshaded, and that looks pretty good. So we got a nice leg started with a kind of a boot shape, not a foot shape, a boot shape. Okay, that's what we got so far. Looks good. And we'll stop now, and we'll see you in the next video.